In the beginning, my family was picture perfect, but behind closed doors, it was a totally different thing. My mother divorced my father, and when she divorced my father, I feel that he divorced my brother and I. And that shouldn't be the case.
The first time I met my dad was when I was 12 years old. I never saw him after that.
He wasn't there. Just doesn't make any sense.
My father wasn't there when I was growing up. I took it personally.
He never wanted to be around me. It hurt really bad on the inside, but on the outside, you don't think it hurt.
I want to speak to my children. It's been about a year now, a little over a year. And I miss them, I'm getting impatient, I want to speak to them.
Waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it, so we keep waiting.
When me and my brother were younger, I couldn't stand him at all. And I came to realize the reason I couldn't stand him is because he always spoke of my father in a negative light. Not bad like to make me feel bad, but he just felt bad that I saw my father, I held him on a high pedestal, and honestly, he didn't deserve it. Like, he would say he would come and pick us up, and I would sit and wait for him all night in my coat, sneakers, sitting right next to my overnight bag, and that time never came.
My name is Devell Owens, I'm 28 years old, I have 4 children, and their names are Angelique Owens, Taj Owens, and Jordan Owens, and Dominique Jackson. And I'm representing the other side for the fathers who are not heard. I felt that it was very imperative that someone of our culture to speak out on what's going on with fathers across the world. It's not just mothers going through these difficult times, but it's also fathers as well. And we need to be heard because we're not heard amongst the court systems, amongst so many other places. You know, I was a person who was responsible as far as paying child support on my own. And, you know, she felt the need to go back and fight the case for about an entire year, to the point where I don't know what happened to this day, but to the point where I was coming home with paychecks for 1 cent. 1 cent, I have them still framed, because I'm like, wow. I fell behind on bills and all kind of stuff, and I tried to work things out with her aside from the court, and she would not do it because of the involvement that I had with someone new. I called my ex and I tried to speak to my children, and she in fact picked up, surprisingly, and asked me what I wanted, and I said, I want to speak to my children. It's been about a year now, a little over a year, and I miss them, I'm getting impatient, I want to speak to them. And she laughed and hung the phone up and said, well, before hanging up, said no, laughed and then hung up. So this is what I'm dealing with, and I'm pretty sure a lot of men are dealing with, and it's unjust, it's unfair.
My name is Summer Robinson. I'm 11 years old. When I was a little girl, I used to always want to know who my dad was and stuff and spend time with him. When I first met my dad, like when I could actually identify him and I figured out who he was, that was my 5th birthday. When I first saw my dad, I was really surprised. I didn't really know what to think, but I was glad to see him. Wow, so this is the guy that I got all my looks from. Well, my dad's a good person, but he's usually busy all the time and doing paperwork, so we really usually don't have a chance to talk and hang out because he's always busy. My mom's always been there for me, but it always felt like there was everybody in my family's always been there for me, but it's just that one empty slot that still hasn't been filled. I want my dad to watch me growing up, to see how I've improved in something, to see what I've done, to see what I've accomplished, to be there for me. And he's not. He's there for me mentally, and like he'd tell me how he's proud of me, but I want to see his face when I actually do it. I want him there to see me accomplish it.